Hey, what is up guys? So today we're going to be talking about this new format called the ARG format. Now this is going to be a new ban list because TCG taken forever to come out with that new ban list. So maybe ARG was like, yo, let's make our own ban list. Regardless of what happens, I think this is a good idea. So the reason why I think it's so amazing is because if you guys remember Halo 2, whoever decided SMG was a starting weapon, they should have been fired from the development team. The battle rifle was clearly the better weapon, and that's why when MLG took the game in a more competitive aspect, they were like, yo, you gotta start out with the battle rifle. Anyways, that's some topic for another day. Let's talk about some Yu-Gi mods. Anyways, so I'll put a link down below in the description box if you guys want to read this whole article, but basically it's a different format than what we are used to in the TCG, and there will be tournaments that actually support this, hosted of course by ARG. Now let's go ahead and check it out, and we can kind of make some comments. I'm kind of checking this out for the first time. I did briefly glance at it, and what I think is really cool with ARG is they're explaining why they do certain things to cards. With Konami, we kind of gotta guess. Well, sometimes with cards like Spellbook Judgment, we kind of don't need to guess, but sometimes we gotta guess. Anyways, like I said, if you want to read the full thing, I'll put a link down in the description box. We're kind of gonna briefly run through it. So I'll talk. Let's just go through the list first, and then we'll kind of make some I guess commentary over it after, and then we'll go ahead and look at their reasoning. I don't actually know the reasoning for everything, but anyways, I think it's really cool that they're doing this. Anyways, so for band we have Jin, release for Rituals, then we have Fusion Gate, Lavalval Chain, Necros of Trishula, Royal Magical Library, and Vandy's Emptiness. Things to 1, which mean they are limited. We got Sir Melbranch of the Burning Abyss, El Shaddoll Construct, El Shaddoll Fusion, Bubble Man, Stratos, Instant Fusion, Mistake, Necros of Unicorn, which I think is a great idea, and then Wind Up Care Zenmaity. Now, things to 2, we have Dante, we have Dragon Ravine, Inzector Hornet, Rescue Rabbit, Summoner's Art, Torrential Tribute, Wind Up Magician. And for no longer restricted, we have Chaos Sorcerer, Dark Hole, Glow Up Bulb, Sacred Sword of 7 Stars. So that's it for the entire ban list. Now let's go ahead, before I read into their reasonings of why they actually hit the cards in the way that they did, I want to kind of just go over what my opinions are, because that's one section I didn't read yet, but I thought it was an amazing idea, because, you know, sometimes, like I said, Konami, they just hit stuff, they're like, oh, have some fun, guess why we did it, and sometimes the reasoning is just absolutely crazy. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So, as far as ban Jin, it's just like, you can't play. It's the same reason why Shockmaster is, in my opinion, banned, is because it doesn't let the players have interactions with each other. Oh, by the way, these are only changes. Obviously, cards like Pot of Greed are still banned. This is not just like this is in addition to the ban list that already exists in the TCG. So these are essentially the differences. I thought I should mention that. Well, some people might be like, oh man, Graceful Charity at 3 still broken, man. But yeah, these are the only changes from the TCG current ban list. So again, Jin doesn't let your opponent play, or I guess you play technically if your opponent has it out, and it's just it loses player interaction in the game, and I think that is a smart move for that. Anyways, Fusion Gate, basically it's really only used in like stupid stuff. So it's kind of one of those cards where like, if someone is going to be doing something stupid, it usually involves the Fusion Gate. Well, there are a lot of stupid things, like the whole like Royal Magical Library, which is also in here. It's just like dumb ways that you lose, and it's like you don't even get to play. They're all like FTK, OTK oriented decks. Next up, Lavalval Chain. I'm actually going to make a separate video on this because it's so in-depth. Well, I mean, it's kind of like okay, we'll just talk about this another time, but basically, the reason why I believe it was hit is it opens up, first, yes, it does open up some loops. Second off, it does abuse Clownblade Engine more than anything, but it does, like I said, it can become a problem in certain decks. And of course, there's loops, like I mentioned before. Anyways, Royal Magical Library, that's because of FTKs. Trishula, it's a very strong card. I mean, pretty much you only really need 1 anyways in the game, because you can like get it back anyways, or you can like summon it from the grave. So it being banned is much better than putting out 1, because some people only played 1 anyways. It's a very strong card because there are some things that, you know, go 2- and you just lose if a Trish goes off. But I think if this gets hit, like the problem that I have with the Shaddolls, like dealing with a Trish is kind of problematic, because Construct, yeah, you can still run over Unicorn because it has a decent amount of attack, but like if it gets Trish, like you just go 2-, and this kind of helps, I would say, Shaddolls have a little bit more of a chance, especially if you're going to be hitting the other things, which we'll get into later. But yeah, a lot of like rogue decks will lose to this, and the strange thing is like, if every deck can't have access to Trishula, why does one deck have access to Trishula? And it's so easy to make in that Necros deck. And it's also, of course, searchable and stuff like that. So I don't think putting it to 1 would even affect it. So, like, it wouldn't make sense at all to put it at 1. So banned would be the better choice. It's like banned or, like, you leave it at 3. Anyways, restricted to 1. Oh, wait, we did talk about bandies. Oh, well, it's pretty simple. It goes with the same idea as, like, this. Is you can't play the game. Next up, restricted to 1, the Sir Milbranch, the Burning Abyss. I don't know. I really hate how Burning Abyss just, like, they don't want to die. You just can't OTK them, unless, of course, you're, like, Dark Law. But for the most part, it's just really annoying to deal with multiple Sirs, and I think that would be a great card to hit. I mean, I was thinking maybe Dante to 1 would hurt them, but that might be, like, unplayable status, so they put it to 2. But, Construct is like the best adult card because like I get rid of everything, and when I come out I either get to draw one, I get a special on Falco, I gotta choose whatever I want to do, and it's really strong. El Shaddai Fusion and dodges stuff is pretty nasty to be able to like summon attack, okay, El Shaddai Fusion, okay, attack again. It's like dang dude, too strong for me. And also of course if you summon something and something happens, you chain it and like you're good to go. Or you can just set it and then your opponent goes for their turn, and you go, oh, psych, there's a window now on board when you use, like, you know, an important card. Like, maybe they go for Soul Charge, and you're like, okay, I got a window, you go ahead and spell summon once, you can't make anything else after. You know, stuff like that. It's pretty nasty to deal with, so you only have one of those now. Now we have Bubble Man. That's an interesting concept. I really don't know the reasoning behind this at all. I mean, perhaps it's because, put Stratos back, we gotta put Bubble Man to 1. I mean, heroes haven't been doing so hot, to my knowledge, even in the OCG. I mean, they usually top just randomly once in a while, but honestly, I don't have an explanation for that. I'll have to probably get into it. I know that you can Bubble Man and like draw extra cards. I don't know if there's some combo that allows you to essentially abuse that, but from what I know, I don't think that there's any FTK or OTKs involving Bubble Man that are like very viable. Next up, Instant Fusion, my guess is Nodin. Oh, Stratos, because I don't think it necessarily need to be banned at all. But Instant Fusion, probably because Nodin. Mistake, because your opponent can't play. Well, it's because they can't search, therefore they can't play. Necro's Unicorn, pretty good card also to hit, because like, if you hit some of the Necro cards, it doesn't matter, because you can just Unicorn get it back anyways, and you have Bright to search out other cards. Interesting choice to put Zenmaity. There is more support coming up for windups. That support is unknown, so we'll have to wait and see what comes out for that. That is just a card where I think that windups aren't seeing any play. Let's go ahead and find out what happens. I don't know. Next up we have Dante. Makes it so Burning Abyss can't just be like, oh, Dante, and then I can recycle my other cards. You actually have to like Dante for, I believe you can, you Dante for Dante, right? But nonetheless, it makes it so like they can't get out like so many dang Dantes against you. Next up, Dragon Ravine. You can't really play Dragonides. Not that I think most people are going to be using it in Dragonides, but it supports the Chaos Dragons that are going to be coming out in the future. It is a pretty nasty card sometimes. There is one OTK, but like it's not very like consistent. Next up, Inzektor Hornet. I feel like, well, you already have Mathematician. That's a fantastic card for the Inzektor archetype, and of course with the Oasis and stuff, very nice. But it just makes the deck more viable. Next up we have Rescue Rabbit. I think that's a great idea, although I kind of don't like the idea that like Rescue Rabbit turn 1 is just like, it's going to be more often now. But the thing is like, no one wants to play it at 1, and at 3 it's too good, so like, I think at 2 is like the good number. It's like more balanced, so to speak. And I don't mean balance in the sense where I'm like, oh, you open up with it, okay, that's balance. I mean balance in a sense where it has a chance to compete with the other stuff. Next up, Summoners are, personally for me, I don't think cards that search other cards are like necessarily like good, because I mean they're good in the sense of like they're like strong, but like they're not good for the game, because like if a card's at 3 or card's at 1, it's at 1 for a reason. Like, you know, Scout's at 2 for a reason, but then when you have 3 more Summoners, right, the Scout's still at 5, you know. I don't think cards that search cards should have been made in the game, because like cards are again at 2 for a specific reason. Or cards are at semi-limited, limited, you know, there's a reason why you can only play 3 copies of card, but then cards search out other cards, right? Like that, if you guys haven't seen that, it's like the Magician Pendulum deck. It's really dumb. Like, you get to search your deck for any 2 pendulums and you just it's crazy. It's dumb. I have to get some footage to show you guys how stupid the card is. But yeah, I think Summoners are well, just any card that searches, by personal opinion, it's just like there's a reason again why cards are at 2, semi-limited and stuff like that. And there's a reason why you can only play 3 and not, you know, 6 copies of a card. Anyways, Torrential, that's fine with me. It kind of hurts pendulums. If anything, I would prefer Bottomless to be at 3, so it punishes players to go, oh, I special summon 5 cards. It's like, dude, you can't special summon 5 cards with like no restriction. Now Torrential, yes, they die, but then they can come back. So Torrential probably supports pendulums more than it hurts them. Or essentially like it doesn't like destroy them completely so they can't play. Wind Up Magician 2, again, I don't know what the new wind up stuff is. Maybe they're just like, oh, let's see what happens with wind ups. No longer restricted. And what's cool with this, it kind of brings back some of the older formats like the Dino Rabbit. Like they basically brought back, well, they gave more support, or they helped out Dino Rabbit, they helped out Inzectors, they helped out Windup. So the older stuff, and maybe we might see some more play, or there might be some new combos that are opened up because of some of the newer stuff. That's pretty cool. Anyways, for no longer restricted, we got Chaos Sorcerer, but don't really care too much about it. It's not going to really change the game, in my opinion. And then Dark Hole, whatever. You can see players that are playing 0 Dark Hole. Sometimes it's like 1 Regeki, 1 Dark Hole. Sometimes it's just Regeki. Then we have Glow Up Bulb. I don't even know why this was actually limited. You can only use Glow Up Bulb's effect. It's like Spawn Glow Up. Why were they limited? Like, you can only use them once. Whatever. Secret Sword, 7 stars. That could... I don't know what it's going to open up the door with, because we don't know what else is going to be coming out that's going to support just like rank 7 spam, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I feel like draw power cards are kind of OP too, but whatever. Anyways, at the end of the year, they're gonna be explaining the reason. So let's go ahead and check out briefly what they mentioned. Let's see if we were right on some of these, because again, I haven't read these myself, and this is what I really wanted to see. Was I right on some of these topics? Anyways, Jin and Emptiness. I'm just gonna kind of skim through it. Let's see. Cards do not allow you to play the game. Okay, makes it less fun. Perfect. Fusion Gate ban, Elemental Bulb ban, Restricted 1. Okay, bring back Stratos. Okay, we felt heroes were too powerful. I don't know. I really think that even with 3 Stratos, like, I don't think heroes are even, like, super viable, because you really want to be bringing out the Dark Law. That's what makes them good. Stratos doesn't exactly do that. I mean, you could... I mean, I guess you can special the Wind one much easier, but for the most part, you want to be special summoning the Dark Law and then getting Dark Law's effect, not summon Stratos, search Dark Law, pass. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess you can call them Haunted, but the same thing. I don't think Stratos was banned for his like backward destruction, especially when we have Denko Seka in the game. But for the most part, I don't understand that. Let's see. Maybe they'll explain it. E-Call is unrestricted. Okay, Bowman because of problem with... We also banned Fusion Gate to avoid the OTK with Blaze Phoenix. Oh, okay. There you go. So that's to avoid the FTK OTK stuff. That makes perfect sense to me. Anyways, next up we have Lavalval Chain banned. Almost every member wanted this card banned. Okay, there is the FTK Blue-Blooded Oni. I do know about that one. And then, obviously, Infernity, which kept on getting hit over and over. And then the Lock Strategies Jin. Okay, so they banned that for, like... Also, the future reference to Clownblade is actually really strong. Trishula, let's see. Trishula is, like, really powerful. Just banned it. Okay, it would make it so Necros aren't apparently the dominant deck, which I still think that they'd be like decent, which is kind of good. Like they're sometimes what I feel like what Yu-Gi-Oh does, and what I like with what ARG is doing is they're not nerfing it to the ground where it's like, nah, you can't play it. Like, you know, ban Spellbook. Like after Spellbook Juggernaut got banned, like they didn't do anything. The thing is, I mean, that card definitely needs to be hit though. Let's be honest here. But like things are getting nerfed to the ground where they're unplayable, and sometimes that just happens in other games too. Whereas they're trying to take an approach where it's more like, okay, let's make it so the deck is still a little bit viable, but not completely destroyed and not completely OP. Library, I think I was probably 100% right. Okay, OTKs, FTK, yeah, same thing, whatever. Sir, okay, let's see. It's annoying. Okay, yeah, looping Dante's is pretty dang annoying. And then when Burning Abyss runs out of Dante's, it's difficult for them to make plays. Very true indeed. So that's kind of good that they decided to deal with that, because they're hitting everything a little bit, so they're all kind of maybe on the same playing field, and that way other decks can definitely shine too. So it's not only to make all of these decks that are really good and then bring them down a notch so they're all the same essentially. I think it's done because it allows other decks to see some more play, and of course, like, you know, maybe windups will see some more play, which is kind of cool. Anyways, next up, Elshaw Fusion. With the hidden Burning Abyss, okay, they're just hitting them. Okay, makes sense. Instant Fusion, no, didn't. Okay, 100% mistake. Yeah, makes so you can't play. Okay, makes perfect sense. Necros of Unicorn restricted to 1. Okay, because it searches, and of course the negation effect. It's more, for me, it's more like the searching is so annoying. Just be like, oh man, I'm gonna search out whatever Necro that was already used and use it again later on. Zen Matey, let's see. Windups to come back. The goes first and it loses consistency because it only started with 5 cards. Oh, that does help. Some members wanted Magician to go to 3, but okay. Wanted them to go to 2. Okay. Ravine, Dragon Ruler's gone. It's not problematic. It gives Dragoonis a chance to come back. I don't know if Dragoonis are even that viable in today's meta, but let's see what it does at 2. Maybe they'll put it at 3 later on. But again, I think that the thing that's going to abuse Ravine or make it strong isn't even going to be Dragoonis. Some other like Dragon deck is going to come out later down the line to show you how like OP Ravine can be, because basically it's a Foolish Burial once per turn, and it can search out another thing, which is pretty nasty. Anyways, next up, Hornet 2. Like I said, like I mentioned before, like they were like you can bring back like all of the older stuff, so like other stuff is more viable. Anyways, someone wanted Dragonfly and Hornet to both go to 2. Okay, majority of people wanted a Hornet to 2, because popping like one card isn't that big of a deal, but like Dragonfly can get pretty nasty with it for sure. Anyways, Rapid to do, let's see, with Tour Guide being restricted to 1, okay, the card come back to no one to take it there yet, okay. So, yeah, I think 2 is like the good number, because Rescue Rabbit at 1, no one wants to play it again. 2 is like, oh, maybe I'll think about it, but then 3 is like, obviously, it's too good, man. Summer's Art, so I guess that, I mean, obviously that hits Cleese harder than anything, but that also hits Ignites, which is a new deck, but 2 is not going to, like, ruin that deck at all. Or even at, like, 0, it's not going to ruin it, because there's still more support coming out for Ignites anyways. Heck, maybe they'll, I mean, they have the Summoner's Art, they also have Reinforcement. The Army, it's like, man, can we get even better stuff for that deck? Like, the deck has too much searching. It's crazy. Anyways, Torrential to 2. Let's see. I think that's fine. Some wanted to go to 3. Oh, okay, I'm fine with that. I think that Bottomless would have been better to put that card to 2. Like, keeps Pendulums a little bit more in check, you know. But next up we have Glow Up Bulb. Okay, I think I'm like spot on. Like, who? Well, did they mention Glow Up Bulb effectively used once in the game? Yeah, I don't understand why it's at 1. Like, same thing with like Spore, but anyways. I guess they made a spreadsheet too, but anyways, the spreadsheet, I actually checked that out, and I think, yeah, I have it up over here, which is basically just like, it's everything included in the list, which is kind of cool that they also did that, so you can see everything that's banned. I'm just going to be covering the stuff that has changed from the actual ban list. But, oh, there's the Google Docs forum, the forum. But anyways, yeah, Glow Up Bulb, you can use once. They got the Chaos Sorcerer. I don't think, Dragon Rulers are like even like the old Dragon Rulers. No, I mean, sorry, not old Dragon. Old Chaos Dragon deck that used to like be a good matchup against the Macro Rabbit deck or Dino Rabbit deck, because it just had a bunch of like had bigger beaters and can just run over Logia. But for the most part, I think that is pretty much everything that we need to cover. I mean, like, Dark Hole, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, players don't even run Dark Hole in some decks, but yeah. That's pretty cool, and I think it's great to just have other formats, because sometimes formats can get stale, I understand, and people really want this new ban list. And I do like the idea of having, you know, a more competitive, so to speak, list, because, I mean, without a doubt, we have to say that, like, things that OTK, like, you know, the Royal Magic Library, those aren't really fun to play against, nor do they really let the other player even have a chance at times. And obviously cards with Jin and, like, Vanny's Emptiness, like, if you don't have the answer to it, like, you can't even play the game. It's kind of lame, but that's why I think ARG is trying this new ban list. But, well, apparently we got DC for DevPro, but not that we really need to cover that right now. But that's pretty cool. And like I said, if you guys want to check out the full like little article that I'm going off of for this, you guys can go ahead and visit the description box below. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this. This won't apply to TCG, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Official games. This will be at ARG games. And what's cool, like you can see right here in this little article, that they're going to be giving away over $40,000 during the next month. And I think that is really cool. Cash prizes superior to winning an iPad and, you know, a little trophy. I mean, yeah, those are cool and all, but I think that competitive players want some big money, because it lets you kind of, you know, feel more proud of yourself. I know a trophy to some people is worth more than money, but I think that if you're going to be practicing, you should be able to make a living off of, you know, a competitive game, if, you know, the game wants to be competitive. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tries to be competitive, but in my opinion, the TCG doesn't do enough for it, heck, even the OCG. I think that they really just need cash prizes, like big cash prizes. Very, very good. But anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts are, and if anyone can explain Bubble. I still don't understand the Bubble Man. That's one card that they said that, like, oh, maybe Bubble Man will be OP. I mean, I know you can Shroud, search Bubble Man special that, but, like, you know how many rank 4 spam decks that can use, like, you know, Altair Deneb? That's one deck that didn't get hit, so I felt like Satoshi could be, you know, maybe a really good deck over here, because they didn't hit Rhoda. I think personally Rhoda should be, I think all the Searcher cards should just, like, not exist in the game again. It goes back to the same idea, but I feel like I'm ranting on too long. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and do you guys like that there's a different list? I know that some players, they only want one list, but here's the thing. I think that ARG is trying to do what MLG did back in the Halo days. Like, we don't have to argue that, like, you know, Spellgo Judgment was, like, the worst card ever. Like, they probably would just be like, okay, let's pre-ban that card, because that's just, like, out of control. You know, starting out with the SMG in Halo 2 was, like, the biggest joke. I don't know if you guys have played Halo 2, but starting off with the SMG was, I don't know, like, who designed that? You know what's another great thing? Let's mention this real quick before I end the video. Is who designed that you would randomly trip in Brawl. Like, who is like, you know, guys, we're gonna have this new game, and then like randomly you just trip because, you know, we want RNG in the game. Maybe you can buy some DLC packs, and you can maybe not trip as often, or you can buy fatalities, right? I hate that in games. But anyways, yeah, I think it is very cool, and I think that, you know, maybe we can have a better format with this. And it's kind of cool that what I really like is the preemptive thing that they talked about. They mentioned that where's the Royal Magical Library, that they banned it preemptively. So they're banning stuff before even, like, you know, we have a chance to like abuse it really, really hard, because, you know, we know that there's a lot of FTKs with Royal Magical Library, and that's basically the only time that card was ever seen in play anyway. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Azneyes signing out.